Hi everyone, Sarah here. Welcome back to my channel. Today is Friday, December 28th, 2018. I am still recovering from our Christmas. How was everybody else's Christmas? Or if you don't celebrate Christmas, how was your day off? Or whatever holiday you do celebrate. Happy New Year, because I will not be back before New Year's Day, I don't believe. And, yeah, this past week has been crazy for us. Trying to think. It started Saturday morning, the 22nd. We drove down to Arkansas and attended our friend's memorial service. Saw a lot of her family that we haven't seen in years. And my whole family was there. My parents, all of my siblings that live in the area were there. We were all in for Christmas anyway, so that worked out. So yeah, so that was how it started. And Saturday night, I mentioned, I think probably in my first video, that I help organize a gaming group. So we had our gaming group Christmas party Saturday night. So we did that. Then we went to my husband and I, and our daughter went to my parents, and we spent the night there Saturday night. Sunday, see, I've already forgot what we did. Sunday was... Oh, my dad's, I've mentioned this before, my dad and my sister's birthday are in December. One is the 14th and one is the 17th. So we got together Sunday evening and had dinner, and they opened their presents, and yeah, that was fun. And then after that, my daughter stayed with my sister. And my husband and I drove back home, which is it's just a couple of hours, but still in the middle of it, it's all kind of crazy. We drove back home so that I could finish some stuff that I was still working on. And we probably had more than what we could fit in one car trip just to get it all down there anyway. So it worked out. We have a tiny trunk. We have a hybrid car, and so the trunk is super small. So yeah, we came back home the day before Christmas Eve. My husband and I spent the night here, packed up the car. Sorry, I heard a car. I was making sure it wasn't my husband home from work. Sometimes he gets off work real early. He sometimes tells me he's on his way home. Sometimes he doesn't. So yeah, but it wasn't. It was our neighbor. So yeah, we packed up the car Monday morning, drove down to my parents' house, who did Christmas Eve. At their house, we always do Dirty Santa on Christmas Eve, and then there's always this big, like, buffet spread of stuff. My husband made homemade sauerkraut, homemade mustards. He made a brown spicy and Dijon homemade, ground the mustard seeds, all of that fun stuff. It was really good. We stopped. We live not too far from St. Louis, and there is a sausage maker there that we went and we bought some sausages from them a couple of weeks ago and froze them, and then took them down with us when we went Monday. So we had a big spread with, I mean, just Polish sausages and brats and kielbasa and not kielbasa, knockwurst. That's what I was looking for. Yeah, they're German sausage makers. I guess it was opened by somebody who moved from Bavaria ages ago, but in the 40s maybe. But yeah, that was the first time we'd ever had their sausage. My husband just looked up best sausage in St. Louis, and they were at the top of the heap. So we did that, played Dirty Santa, and then we all went to my sister's house, who was hosting Christmas. All of us that didn't go home that night went there and spent Christmas Eve at her house. My husband brewed some beer that was like 11.8% alcohol by volume. So a few people partook in that, and there were some people that weren't quite as sober as me. I just had a couple of, like, the Reds, peach, I don't know what they're called. My sister brought them. But my husband's beer was not one of my favorites, so I didn't drink any of that. Let's see. Also, I think there was some whiskey being passed around by my brother-in-law. Again, I did not partake. Oh, and margaritas. There was all kinds of stuff going on that I sat in my own little world. They were also doing their last-minute Christmas present touches. So yeah, that was our Christmas Eve. Then Christmas morning, we woke up. We we were really slow getting started. We waited for the kids opened their Santa presents, and then we waited for we had my brother and his family, and then my parents, who both live within, I don't know, 15 minutes or so of my sister. So we waited on them to get there. Then once they got there, we actually just sat and visited for a little bit. Then we opened stockings, and we have a tradition where we always open one present for everybody before breakfast. But yeah, we did this at like 10:30. My sister was remarking that we had the most patient kids in our family, because I don't see how when I was 8 years old I would have been fine waiting until 11 o'clock in the morning to open my presents. But yeah, they were just playing and having a good old time. So we didn't start opening presents until like 11:30, something like that. Like, sit down and start work. And we open one at a time, so everybody gets to see what they get to see, the reaction of the people who they gave gifts to, and you know, everybody kind of gets to see. I mean, it's still crazy. We had 18 people. It's crazy. But we opened presents, and that lasted, I don't know, sometime into the afternoon, and then we had lunch. At that point, my husband and I packed up the car and came home. My daughter stayed again a couple more days. She and her cousins are real close. So I was listening to them Christmas Eve, making all these plans for what they were going to do Christmas Eve. And I was like, that's 3 days worth of plans. I don't know how y'all are going to do that. So I talked to my sister, and she's like, yeah, go ahead and leave her here for a couple of days. That's fine. So we left her with her cousins and drove back home. My husband worked on Wednesday and Thursday. But so Thursday, after he got work, he actually got called in. He was supposed to be off call at 5. He got called in, so we went. We live about a half an hour from the place he works, so we went in. I went and got some floss at Hobby Lobby while he worked, and then we didn't get on the road until 6 to go get my daughter. So it was 10 or so by the time we got back home last night. This was just last night. So yeah, we've had a week of nonstop go, it feels like. But, you know, lots of good family times. My family's super close. We all get along really well. We don't dread family get-togethers like some families do. We feel pretty lucky with that. So, yeah, we had a good time. We had a good Christmas. Next year, kind of have an every other year where everybody's there for Christmas. And then the other year, my husband's on call every other year. So next year he'll be on call for Christmas. And my 2 brothers who are married spend Christmas with their in-laws, those Christmases that my husband's on call. So it works out that, you know, once every 2 years we're all together for Christmas. And then, you know, the years that we're not, we're together for Thanksgiving. Because it just, they alternate which family they spend Thanksgiving with, and we alternate, you know, my husband's work alternates which years he's on for Thanksgiving and Christmas, so it switches each year. So yeah, that was our Christmas. And then, let's see. That was a lot. I don't usually talk for 8 minutes before I start my cross-stitch stuff. But, yeah. Speaking of Christmas, I'm going to start with some finishes. So, I'm going to start with this one. I'm going to see what we get glare-wise. Oh, it's not too horribly bad. This is a... I got a little mirroring effect going there. This is a pattern I got off of Etsy that I made for my daughter for Christmas. Sorry, I'm a little scattered. I hear cats rustling because that's what they do. This is a cross stitch that I made for my daughter, and yeah, I think it's cute as a button. I will link the pattern. It's, like I said, it's an Etsy shop. I think it's Crazy for Stitches. I may be wrong about that, but I will make sure to link the pattern. This is not really fully finished. I just wanted it to be just more than just a piece of cloth when she opened it. So it needs to be stretched and all of that. You can kind of see on the back. It's just kind of stuck in there. But she could open it and kind of get the effect of what it will look like framed. So there's that. And then I have some more finishes. I'm trying to figure out where to put stuff. Okay. This was, the next two were things that I had hoped to get done for Christmas, but just didn't quite make it. The first one, my husband is Canadian. I think I've mentioned that before. Wee Little Stitches on their website. Wee Little Stitches is an Etsy shop. Have a freebie on their website. So they have their Etsy store, but then they also have a blog. And they have some freebies there. And so this is one that I stitched up. Before Christmas, all I had managed to do was the maple leaf. So I don't know what those cats are into. So yeah, I finished this the day after Christmas. But didn't quite get it done in time for Christmas. It does in the original pattern. Down here, I think. Have A-E-H with an exclamation point. My husband doesn't really say that, so I opted to leave that off. But that is in the original pattern. And I will link that as well. Wee Little Stitches. True North Strong and Free. I don't know what the exact pattern name is, so. And then the other one, I'm actually going to use the back of this paper. Maybe. Is... this is a pattern I got off of DeviantArt, I don't know, a while back. And I did this one for my nephew. He dressed up as an Ewok for Halloween. If I can find the pattern, I'll link it. I'm not sure if it's still available. I didn't think to look for it. Again, I finished this the day after Christmas. I decided like 2 days before Christmas I was going to try to stitch this up for him. And because I was looking through my stuff and I saw it. And I was like, oh, that would be so cute. So, yeah, his mom knows about it. I've sent her a picture of it. I talked to her about it and said I have something for him. It's just not done. And she's like, that's cool. So, anyway. Next time we see them, that will be fully finished. And why is it the moment I get on here, they decide to wrestle everything? And then the other finish I have, and I don't, this is fully finished. I do not have it here, so I will have to insert a picture. This is what I made for my sister for her birthday. They are horse people. They have horses, and my brother-in-law rides rodeo. Sometimes he does roping. So this is a pattern I bought, I don't know, years ago when we still lived outside of Chicago, and we've been here for 5.5 years, something like that. So yeah, I did that. I will insert a picture of the finished thing I got. You've probably seen it at Hobby Lobby. They have the kind of the hanging rod with the star at the top, and then I just finished it onto that. But I'll put a picture here so that you can see it. It's a little dark, so you may not be able to really see the actual rod that the. I wish this thing would focus. Let's see what happens there. Sorry about the camera shake. There, that's a little bit better. So I did that. And speaking of this, I'm going to do a Pass the Stash with this because I'm done with it. If anybody is interested in stitching this, let me know in the comments. We'll pull a Michelle G. Bendy Stitchy thing and just say that you want to stitch the horse, and I'll do a random draw if there's people that want to do that, and I will get it. I will leave it open until today's Friday. I will leave it open until Wednesday, so January 1st, midnight Central Standard Time. I will close that. So actually 11:59, I guess. So it'll be through January 2nd. So yeah, just let me know if you want to stitch it. Don't say giveaway. And I will ship this anywhere. It's just a small little half-page pattern, one sheet. So if you're interested in this, let me know, and I'll do a random draw for it before my next video. And then I have one new start. So those were all like the secret surprises I couldn't talk about for forever. One new start. It's called French Poppy, I believe. It is off Daily Cross Stitch. And, oh, I should have said this is called Horse by Carriage House Samplings. There's a whole alphabet. I didn't even realize that. I just happened to see a sample. They had this stitched on their wall. a sample of it. So I saw that and I was like, oh, I'm going to make that for my sister and brother-in-law. So there is a whole alphabet available, and I think you can buy it all as one. But yeah, this is the only part of it I bought. Cats. Always cats. So, French Poppy, Daily Cross Stitch. I will link it below. I'll also stick a picture in here so you can see what it's going to look like when it is finished. I'm just working on the black outline right now. There will be another flower that goes down in here, and then it'll fill in with the red and green of the flower and leaves. I'm hoping that it is the right size, that I can use it to turn a mason jar into an orc jar, and then use this to make a pin cushion at the top. We'll see. We'll see if it fits. If not, I'll do something else with it. We'll figure out a different way to finish it. But that was my original intent when I started it. I'm looking at it. It's going to be pretty close in size, but I think it's going to fit. So, hopefully, again, this will be another quick stitch. And so that's all I've gotten to work on. I haven't pulled out any of my other bigger projects or anything like that. These last couple of weeks I've just been in Christmas mode pretty much. So yeah, I do have, really? I do have a little bit of new stuff. I didn't get anything cross-stitchy under the tree. My husband had tried, but it didn't show up in time. But I did receive, a while back on Stitch Mania, somebody had put in, what is your unicorn pattern? And this is mine. This was mine. The Fortunate Traveler by Teresa Winsler. I love her fantasy stuff. And most of you probably realize that she's discontinued doing any of her, like, dragons and stuff like that, which she's pretty famous for. So they're all out of print. You can't get them anymore. I had put this down as my unicorn, and somebody in the group had it, so she let me know, and I talked to my husband. He's like, well, go ahead and get it, and I'll put it under the tree for you. And it did not show up in time for Christmas, but it did when we got home Christmas, or we left, I guess, Christmas Eve before the mail ran. It must have come Christmas Eve, but when we got back Christmas Day, it was in the mailbox. So I did get it. Not under the tree, but it is a Christmas present from my husband. Let's see if you can see. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I have her Fantasy Collection one, and I haven't stitched anything out of it. There are a couple. I would like to do the castle. The castle is it's possibly her most famous dragon one. It's the castle with the dragon that's kind of wrapped around the top of it. And then there's also the castle sampler, which I love. And those are the three Teresa Winsler ones. This one and those two are the ones that I want to do next. I don't know which one I'm going to start with. Probably the castle sampler. But it might be this one. This one might win it out. But that'll be sometime probably in 2019. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. But I got that. And then the other thing I received, and this will be a segue into my FlossTubers that I talk about too. Country Stitchers. I think that's the name. Liz and Deb. I think they live in Pennsylvania. I'm not 100% sure. Anyway, they do what they call their subscriber tribute, and they give away something to a subscriber, or I think this case there were a couple of subscribers that won something. And I was so surprised when I heard my name. But this is called the Shaker Needle Roll. I think I got this in the mail when we got back Sunday night. It's kind of glary, but I'm not going to take it out of its packaging. So, Shaker Needle Roll. It's got a lot of specialty stitches in it, so I'm interested in that. And then it also came with, see my name down there, came with the ribbon. There's some, like, for the ties. Floss, a couple of packs of John James needles. It does not have the fabric in it. It looks like it was rated for the fabric. It did originally come with some Zweigart fabric, but it'll be easy to just replace that. And I'm not 100% sure I'm going to do this as a needle roll. I might just do it as almost like a band sampler. We'll we'll see. I'll make that decision when I'm ready to start on it, and once I've decided that, I'll get the fabric that I need to finish it. Again, I'm hoping that this is a 2019 start, but we'll see, because I do have a lot of 2019 starts I'm about to talk to you about now. If you remember, a couple of weeks ago, I had shown that I got a bunch of these. I think there's 16 of these project bags in here. Just the A4 size that you can get off Amazon. I will link them again in the description. But the reason I got them is my Christmas present to my family was to, I kind of gave them some choices of things that I will stitch for them. And they were, you know, anything from really fairly simple projects to some that were, I think the biggest one was still under 200 by 200 that I had posted or had given them a choice from. And nobody picked that one. Now, I'm still waiting on a couple of people, so we'll see, people that weren't actually with us on Christmas Day. So, I still have to wait and see what they pick. But, so yeah, I will have 11 new starts in January. I will be working on those as the year progresses. I have decided, I think that I'm going to basically dedicate one month to each person. So that's 11 months. I do have a couple of really busy months in the year. So October is pretty crazy because we do a gaming convention that month. So that might be for a small one. My sister picked one that's real. I mean, it's like a couple of days worth of stitching. So, and I will show those probably my next video once I get everything squared away and I know what everybody wants. But yeah, that's my big 2019 plan, is to as part of their Christmas stitch across stitch that's kind of, you know, geared towards each of my family members, and something, you know, I mean, I picked stuff that I was looking forward to stitching as well. Not necessarily, I come from a really geeky family. There's a lot of fandoms. I am a fan of some of the stuff that my family is fans of, and other stuff I just like the way the patterns looked, but I knew that they were fans. So so yeah, I will show. I've got to figure out how to do that, because like I said, I think I mentioned that it was pretty much all Etsy stores. So have to figure out the best way to share that. But yeah, that'll be probably my next video, hopefully, if I get the other information I need. So yeah, that's what's going on in my cross-stitching world right now. Hopefully I didn't forget anything. And now, oh yeah, and Country Stitchers, I will link them below. Check them out. I love their videos. I haven't seen all of them. Like I said, I've only been aware of FlossTube for a couple of months, so, but occasionally I've watched their first few videos, and then I've watched most of like what they've put out in the 2 months I've been watching FlossTube. But there's a whole bunch of them in the middle I have not seen. But I love their Gadget Corner. They just talk about cross-stitching gadgets and stuff like that. That's one of my favorite things in the FlossTube world right now. So yeah, Liz and Deb, thanks for doing what you do, and I will link them below. If you're not familiar with them, you should be. And then my game. Today, I'm going to talk about Splendor. Splendor is a game. It's a few years old now. It's by, who is it by? Mark Andre. And it's what's called an engine building game. So you are creating what they call an engine, so that you can build up and do more things with what's in front of you. And the way it works is you have these cards, and they go from pretty easy to collect. So this is the cost of the card. So this one would cost one of each of these 4 colors, and then it will start producing the white color. And you can see there's a white one on this next one. And when you have this card in front of you, you don't need to have, the way you buy these cards are with poker chips. And they have the different gems on them. So, on your turn, you can either pick up poker chips. So, you will pick up one of 3 different colors. There's green, black, red, white, blue, and then there's a gold, which we'll get into in a second. The gold's different. So, you can either pick up 3 different color poker chips, 2 of one color poker chip, and there has to be a minimum of 4, so you can't take more than half of what's left. you can buy a card with said poker chips or with other cards like we mentioned here, or you can reserve a card. So these are like laid out. There's 4 or 5 cards that are face up for each of the different. So I'll show you this one right here. As you get to the 3rd level cards, you can see this is where your engine becomes handy, because you can only have 10 poker chips in your hand at any given time, so you can't have enough here to buy that just by what's in your hand, because as you can see, this one requires 14 gems. So this is where you're having the cards in front of you helps. So you can reserve a card, which you would put down. You just basically will take it from what's face up. You can also take one that's face down, but you're just taking a risk there because you don't know what it is. So whatever's on top of the pile, you can take that as well. And then you get the gold poker chip when you do that. So you always get a poker chip even if you take a card. This one is a wild, so it works for any of the colors. And the end game, the goal is to get the most victory points. The end game is when somebody reaches 15 points, everybody gets an equal amount of turns. So you keep track of who the first player was, and then everybody will get to go up until that first player again after the person who hit 15 points first. The other way you can get points, so this 3 here is victory points. And some of these cards, if you look at like these bigger cards here, like the ones I showed here, these are worth victory points too. But at the end, once you've got enough cards, they have to be cards, not poker chips. Once you have enough cards in your hand to meet these criteria, so 3 green cards, 3 blue cards, and 3 red cards, then you can claim this. And you can only, I think you can only claim 1 per turn, but it's not one of your actions. It's just something that you do. Basically, the noble knows that you have what he needs, and he comes to visit you, and you don't have to turn the cards in or anything like that. You keep them in front of you. It's just you've met his requirements for you to get those points. And that's basically the game. It is real quick to learn. Real easy to get into, and one that I enjoy immensely. There is also an expansion that I've played some of them. It's a modular expansion, so you can pick and choose which pieces you want to play with. So the expansion adds a little bit to it, but yeah, I still enjoy just sitting down and playing the base game. And I think I've seen it at Target. I'm not sure. You can definitely get it on Amazon or through a local game store. It's pretty popular. It's by Space Cowboys, also Asmodee, North America, carries, distributes, publishes. I'm not sure. Their game's in the US. So, but yeah, Splendor by Mark Andre. It's a good one. It's a really good one. The other thing I like about it is there's no language dependent, so you can play it with younger kids that maybe not aren't able to read, or if you have family members that don't speak English. It's a good one for that, and a lot of the information is open, so you can help people as well. So if they're new to cats, she's shaking the chair. I'm sorry about that. On that note, I am going to stop this, and hopefully I'll get to finish those last couple of things that I was working on, get some full finishes done. And yeah, that's I think all I have for you today. Have a happy new year. I think I said that earlier, but yeah, have a happy new year, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.